Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, July 19th. A true summer heat wave for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the Midwest, in the Northeast, in the Mid-Atlantic region. It looks like places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City can make a run to 100 degrees during this 3-day stretch. But the good news is that there is relief on the way for next week, and it looks like significant relief on the way for next week. By Tuesday of next week, temperatures should be below normal in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. Highs back down in the 80s, maybe even the lower 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And the overall temperature pattern looks rather favorable for the remainder of July in the central and eastern U.S., perhaps even right into the early part of the month of August. So we have to suffer through 3 days here, but significant relief is on the way. There very well could be a kind of a strong to severe thunderstorm threat at the end of the heat wave, Sunday night, Monday. We'll have to monitor that over the next couple of days. Certainly thunderstorms are possible Sunday night and Monday with a cold frontal system that will be pressing our way. And again, I think there's possibilities from strong to severe thunderstorm activity at the end of this upcoming heat wave. Well, this is the time of the year where, statistically speaking, we're supposed to be the warmest of the entire summer season. The latter part of July, statistically, the warmest time of the year, and above normal conditions this time of the year means quite a significant rise in temperatures in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. By the way, Philadelphia has not hit 100 degrees in the last 7 years. 7 years ago they hit 100 at the airport. Possibility of that, especially during the day on Saturday. D.C. will flirt with the 100-degree mark each of the next 3 days. Perhaps the best chance in Philly, New York City will come on Saturday, but not outside the realm of possibility that even there they hit 100 degrees today or Sunday as well. Well, this is not a bad time of the year to look ahead to the possible factors for the upcoming winter. Right in the middle of the summer heat wave, the statistically warmest time of the year. We haven't shown sea surface temperature anomalies in a while, so I want to kind of point out a few of the things that I'll be watching over the next few months in terms of sea surface temperature anomalies and potential impact on the upcoming winter. Then we'll get to the current heat wave and the potential for some severe weather here. First of all, very noticeable warm area here, warmer than normal sea surface temperatures tucked in along the Alaska coastline. Now, we've had this several times this decade, and it really contributed to some colder winters in the middle part of the decade, like 2013 and 14, and then 14 and 15, because what that tends to do is sets up an upper level ridge on the western part of North America, and that in turn brings some colder air into the eastern and central part of the U.S. with a significant warm blob in that part of the Pacific Ocean. But that's just one factor I'll monitor over the next couple of months. Another couple of areas of interest here. First of all, El Nino seems to be dissipating here in the central part of the Pacific Ocean, and computer forecast models suggest it'll continue to weaken over the next few months. It'll probably end up being rather neutral by the time the upcoming winter season arrives here. Now, one other area of interest. Last winter, all of the snow lovers in the east followed the ridge in the southeast U.S. That is often a kind of a bad sign for those that like snow and cold in the eastern U.S. It's a ridge in the upper part of the atmosphere. Southeastern U.S. typically keeps places like the Mid-Atlantic region a little bit warmer than normal, and sea surface temperature anomalies are quite an indicator of what could happen in terms of the upper air pattern over the southeast U.S. This will be an area of interest. Notice a little bit of a blob here of colder than normal waters. That's as a result of the tropical cyclone Barry that passed over the Gulf of Mexico a week ago, and it caused some upwelling as it slowly moved over the Gulf waters. That brings colder water from down below to the surface. That's what we're seeing here. I'm pretty sure that's just a temporary thing, and we'll get back to above normal over the Gulf of Mexico over the next several days or a week or so. It's been above normal for the most part in the last several months and continues to remain above normal in terms of sea surface temperature anomalies off the southeast U.S. coastline. So these are three areas of interest over the next few months to kind of give us an idea about the upcoming winter season. Again, perhaps a neutral signal in the Central Pacific with respect to a potential neutral ENSO or El Nino state by the upcoming winter. This warm blob here bodes well for cold air outbreaks in the eastern and central U.S. for the upcoming winter season, but will it be counteracted by another strong ridge in the southeast U.S.? Just too early to tell yet, but these are the areas of interest over the next couple of months. Well, before we get to the information on the U.S. heat wave here, I just wanted to show what's been going on in Europe over the past couple of weeks. This is actually temperature anomalies at 2 meters, right at the surface level here for the past couple of weeks across Europe. And the reason I like to show is sometimes what goes on in Europe gives us an indication of what is about to occur in North America, and indeed a large area below normal conditions here over the last 2 weeks. They had a significant heat wave in France and Spain latter part of June and July. Certainly above normal continues there during the last couple of weeks, but this is a very impressive area of widespread below normal conditions, maybe giving us a signal here. And indeed, we do have significant relief on the way in terms of temperatures for the central and eastern U.S. And we'll see some of these greens showing up 5 degrees below normal here in the central U.S. over the next couple of weeks. Well, let's take a look at this unfolding heat wave here for the I-95 corridor region. Again, today, tomorrow, and Sunday will be brutally hot and humid. High temperatures could flirt with the 100-degree mark in places like D.C., Philly, New York City each of the next 3 afternoons. Probably the hottest day will be tomorrow, Saturday, when all is said and done. But I do believe that when the latter part of the summer rolls around, the early part of the fall, we may look back at this 3-day period as indeed the hottest 3 days of the entire summer. Going back a couple of days to Wednesday of this week, this may be the hottest 5-day period, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the Mid-Atlantic region all summer long. So that's the good news. Let's take a look at last night's ensemble run of the GFS, a 6Z run here. See how this ridge over the eastern U.S. will intensify. First of all, there's an unusually strong jet stream across the northwestern U.S. Typically a jet stream divides colder air to the north and the upper part of the atmosphere to warmer air to the south. This may produce some severe weather across the northern U.S. over the next couple of days here. So let's move forward here and watch what happens to this. It just intensifies right on top of the Mid-Atlantic region. What we're looking at are 500 millibar height anomalies. This kind of a ridge in the upper part of the atmosphere typically leads to very, very hot conditions at the surface, and in fact, it looks like, again, we'll flirt with the 100-degree mark each of the next 3 days in much of the I-95 corridor region. This is Saturday morning. Let's keep moving forward here. Continuation of this upper level region right through the upcoming weekend. Now this is Sunday. Now notice here upstream, blues showing up over the western part of the Great Lakes by Sunday night, the latter part of the weekend here. That is the signal for the end of the heat wave here. Again, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday heat wave. Looks like Monday certainly will have a drop in temperatures. Lots of clouds on Monday, maybe some strong to severe thunderstorms. A cold front right in this upper level trough will break the back of the heat wave, and by the time Tuesday rolls around, we'll see below normal temperatures in the Mid-Atlantic region. Well, let's keep pushing forward here as we get into the early part of next week and watch what happens here. We have a developing trough in the eastern U.S., and that represents our significant relief for the I-95 corridor, much of the central and eastern U.S. next week. Again, it looks like below normal temperatures Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday as well of next week. Normal high right now in Philadelphia is about 87, 88 degrees. We may be in the lower 80s come Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon here. Let's keep moving forward here. Ridge slides all the way west to the interior western U.S. and quite an impressive trough developing here. You love to see that this time of the year. Again, statistically the hottest time of the year. No complaints with a trough in the upper part of the atmosphere, again leading to significant relief next week. Well, how does that upper level pattern, 500 millibar height anomalies, translate to temperatures in the lower part of the atmosphere? These are the 850 millibar, a couple thousand feet up, 850 millibar temperature anomalies going forward. Very, very warm, above normal now from the central plains all the way across the Midwest into the mid-Atlantic region as we begin the day today. Let's keep moving forward here. Of course, this will intensify across the northeast U.S. in terms of comparison to normal here for the 850 millibar temperatures. Very, very hot. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, again, a run at 100 degrees in the urban sections of the I-95 corridor region here. And then notice upstream here, some colder than normal conditions setting up here as we get into late Sunday. There's a strong cold front that separates this colder than normal air mass and the hotter than normal air mass right here, that cold front right across the eastern Great Lakes by late Sunday night going into the day on Monday. And again, there could be some strong to severe thunderstorm activity in the I-95 corridor as early as Sunday night, perhaps more likely on Monday as well. This heat wave, this 3-day heat wave, very well could end with a bang and potentially severe weather, especially with that strong upper level jet stream across the northern U.S. But then let's move forward here. Look at this beautiful colder than normal air across the central eastern U.S., southeastern Canada by Tuesday of next week. So while we're suffering this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, keep in mind that significant relief is on the way and will be here by Tuesday. And Monday will be that transition day. And look at this widespread colder than normal condition continuing throughout next week. And let's just keep moving forward here. Want to just keep moving forward. Now we're a week ahead into next weekend here. Still cooler than normal conditions in the eastern U.S. And it looks like that pattern, that favorable pattern for temperatures may continue right through the rest of the month of July, where we're normal or below normal in the central and eastern U.S. and perhaps right into the early part of August as well. Now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from the 6Z GFS model run. Those prior couple of map sequences were from the ensemble run of the GFS. This is the operational version of the GFS. All these maps, by the way, from tropicaltidbits.com. Let's move forward here. Lots of fog around early this morning in Philadelphia and New York City. That'll burn off by mid-morning. Mostly sunny skies for the rest of the day. Once that fog burns away here, and temperatures will soar well up into the 90s here. Let's move forward here. Now notice this area of showers showing up in green here in the GFS model forecast map for this evening. I'm a little bit concerned that there actually could be maybe some strong thunderstorms mixed in here. We're talking upstate Pennsylvania, southern New York, maybe even into the New York City metro region. Certainly an isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible this evening in the I-95 corridor region. It's not out of the question that some of the thunderstorms that form will be on the strong side overnight tonight. Again, isolated at best, but we'll have to keep an eye on the radar later today. Then we go into the day on Saturday, and again, this could end up being the hottest day of the three. Of course, just dealing with a few degrees difference here, but maybe 100 degrees in some of the I-95 corridor urban areas. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, Philly hasn't hit 100 in 7 years here, but again, a brutal day on Saturday. High humidity to go along with the heat. And then we start getting into perhaps a potentially more interesting time frame in terms of the potential for severe weather. Starting as early as Sunday night, I could see some strong to severe thunderstorms over the Great Lakes, perhaps even spilling out over into the Mid-Atlantic region Sunday night. as really kind of a couple of fronts come through. And then the main front, here we are now Monday morning here. Here's the main cold frontal system. Beautiful, cool air mass centered over the northern plains come Monday morning. Transition day in the I-95 corridor region on Monday. Won't be as hot on Monday for sure compared to Sunday or Saturday in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Probably confined to the 80s for the most part in the I-95 corridor with lots of clouds. And with this frontal system passing through there very well could be some strong to severe thunderstorm activity on Monday, as well as the back will be broken of this 3-day heat wave. And then we move forward here. By the time Tuesday rolls around, this strong high pressure over the middle part of the nation will push below normal conditions into the eastern U.S. for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. By the way, with colder than normal conditions setting up over the central U.S., and high pressure sitting over there, sometimes there's kind of a corresponding or a correlated low pressure that starts to form over the western Atlantic or Gulf of Mexico. As a result, with this colder than normal pattern setting up over the interior central U.S., we'll have to keep an eye on any kind of tropical development over the Gulf of Mexico or western Atlantic over the next week or two. So a lot going on here. Perhaps the most intense 3-day heat wave of the entire summer coming today, tomorrow, and Sunday in the Mid-Atlantic region. And this heat wave could end with a bang on Sunday night and Monday. Below normal conditions by Tuesday in the eastern U.S. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Orion.